New Balance Hoops is changing the game with a roster built for the future. Darius Garland, Tyrese Maxey, and Zach LaVine push the pace, while Cooper Flagg is set to be the next #1 pick. Cam Brink is raising the bar for women's basketball, proving that impact goes beyond the court. Whether it's the Hezzy Low V2s for quick cuts, the two-way V5 for all-round play, or the Kawhi 4 for those who never stop climbing, New Balance Hoops makes shoes built for every player. Visit newbalance.com/basketball to explore more.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
I got some things to say. I've been seeing a lot of nonsense lately about Pistons trades, and I can never let it go whenever I see Pistons trade ideas and things like that, because I really do take it personal in a way, kind of like how Mike was saying in his documentary. But no, seriously, whenever I see these outrageous deals, these outrageous trade targets, and it's involving the Detroit Pistons, I have to have a word on it. So I want to bring to you a couple names where the Pistons should target. They should try and grab them in free agency, and they should actually try and bring some of these guys to Detroit on good contracts. And then for some of them, it would be acceptable for a bad contract. But initially, let me just name the guys that the Pistons should target for the offseason. If you can get away with paying them a certain amount, then do it. But as long as it's not going to hurt our future in the long end, then definitely stay away. So I'll explain why I got each of these people on the list in just a sec. But first off, I'm starting off with Naz Reid. We got to target Naz Reid. Lauri Markenen is a name I heard up there, but that one has a question mark to it. I'll explain in just a sec. Kevin Durant also has a question mark to it. I've been seeing some rumors about Pistons possibly going for him. Jaren Jackson is another guy. Santi Aldama with the Grizzlies as well, another guy, which I'll explain about that. And then Julius Randle, I've been seeing this, and this is a hell no. So let's go back to the beginning and explain really quick. I'm going to try and make it as brief as I can because I don't want to hold y'all for too much longer. Anyway, so starting off with Naz Reid. Naz Reid has to be priority 1 for the Detroit Pistons, man. This is a guy literally can play all 3 levels of the floor. Naz Reid play defense, and I don't think he's really going to break the bank for any team that's really trying to get him out there. Now, one of the things that concerns me, and I do kind of think the ticket is going to go up for Naz Reid because his value has definitely increased, but he's currently on a 3-year, $41 million, and I can see him honestly probably getting up to like 65, 75 mil. If the Pistons can do this without hurting us in the future, I'm okay with it because of the production that Naz Reid can bring to the table. However, I would not want to go near 100 mil for Naz Reid. I think it wouldn't be worth it, especially if we can't bring back certain pieces and can't pay certain pieces once they're up for pay. So for Naz Reid, I'm all for, paying and opening up the book for him. He's priority number 1, so I would be okay. I would be a little lenient if we do have to go over the tax threshold and all of that for the luxury and just kind of deal with that penalty. But above all, he's priority 1. Number 2, Lauri Markenen, and Lauri Markenen was a popular option here for a lot of people. This one kind of came about this week, but Lauri Markenen, I gotta say no. Do not target Lauri Markenen if you're the Detroit Pistons. This dude is literally on a huge contract, fresh off of signing a new deal, and for Lauri Markenen, this dude's guaranteed. Or I'm not going to say guaranteed, but his contract is 4 years, $195 million, and he just signed it. So this is huge, and this guy's production has not been there at all from what I've seen in terms of him staying healthy, because the amount of games he's been playing over the last 3 years has just decreased more and more and more and more. So I wouldn't want to trade for a guy who's getting $195 mil, and the production is nowhere near worth that $195 mil. So I can't do that Lauri Markenen stuff. I know it looks good, him and Cade there, and he's a guy who's also a 3-level scorer, but not worth that ticket to pay him that much, especially when you're going to go over the tax threshold. And it's a no. I'm a hard no on Lauri Markenen. I don't want that to happen. But if they could do it without getting screwed because of trading assets, and now I still wouldn't even want to do it. I don't want Lauri Markenen. That contract is too huge. So keep Lauri Markenen away from Detroit. I don't need that at all. Another guy here was Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was hearing some whispers, or we've been hearing some whispers about Kevin Durant possibly joining the Detroit Pistons. And for Kevin Durant, man, I think he's at that point in his career where obviously he's not really looking for a bag to chase, but more so just want to play good basketball with good teammates in a good environment. Detroit is that spot, but I fear he's not going to drop all the way down to something like a vet minimum where we wouldn't really have to open up our checkbooks and open up the wallets and give him a good amount of money. I can't see Kevin Durant going less than $100 million, especially since his previous contract was 4 years, $194. I don't know how much longer he is going to want to play. However, I doubt it's going to be more than 3 years. But if so, we can't give him anything over $120 million, man. That's just going to be way too much to pay a guy who's already on the back end and another guy who's just not going to really take us to the threshold of going to the finals and winning over the next course of the 3 to 4 years. Because KD, I know he's one of my favorite ever, but three to 4 years thinking future-wise, he's not going to be able to help the Pistons as much as we think or as much as he would have been able to 3 to 4 years ago. So Kevin Durant is kind of a no for me. But a guy that I'm really excited about, and I would be excited about here, is Jaren Jackson. I think Jaren Jackson is someone that I would love for Detroit to have on their team, and for someone for them to sign. I would be okay with them opening up the books, open up the wallet, do whatever you got to do to bring Jaren Jackson there. I'm content with that because this dude plays defense. He's expanded his game. Where now he's scoring from the inside and outside, and he's also become a great playmaker. And then on top of all of that, this is a defensive candidate, man. This is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and he's going to be one of the least expensive stars who's going to be a free agent this year. His previous contract was 4 years, $105 million, and I know the ticket is going to go up, but I think Jaren Jackson is a guy who's worth it because he is so young and he has such a bright future ahead of him. And if you could somehow bring Jaren Jackson to Detroit on a free agency deal, a signing, and you get to keep Cade and you get to keep Duren, that's a combination for success in the next 3 to 4 years. That's a combination I can live with. I can live with you going over the tax violations of the luxury tax and all of that. If we can keep Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham, and Jaren Jackson all next to each other, and somehow keep Malik Beasley there because we got him under contract, I would be perfectly content with that lineup and rolling those 4 guys out on the same team with some good role players around. But I mean, it's just the thing of, are we going to actually go through with violating the luxury tax like we did with Coach Manny Williams? And that kind of screwed us a little bit, but that's a whole nother conversation. But Jaren Jackson is a hard yes. I would love to see Jaren Jackson in Detroit for sure. Another dude here, and you know, he's pretty much the last guy. He's a 7-footer, and he can spread the floor. He can shoot. He's not going to cost a lot. Santi Aldama with the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a dude. He's a pretty good shooter from the three-point line. He's a 7-footer. He's not much of a solidified defender just yet in the league, but I think he has the potential to become a great defender, being a 7-foot body down low, and also a guy who can spread the floor. So he's going to be fairly cheap as well. But I think his ticket did go up, but I would be content with bringing him in on a deal that's no more than $60 million. With what he's done over the past 3 to 4 years, he's proved to get a ticket that's more than his previous $11 million. But above all, if we're going to bring somebody in and we don't want to violate the tax thresholds, this could be a guy where we could bring in and can still make a difference because he can knock down shots, because he could be a presence down low as well. And he could just add more depth to the bench. And you don't have to pay him $100 million like you would have to pay Jaren Jackson or like you would have to pay a Nas Reid. You could get away with paying him something around 40 for a couple years. So I'm content with Aldama. I think he would be a good pickup. And the last guy is Julius Randle, which I said is a hell no. I don't want Julius Randle anywhere near Detroit, man. Look, Randle, he's up and down, but ultimately I've seen this man give up on far too many plays. I've seen this man just hang his head and just not give the effort at times where I think the effort needs to be continuously showed. We've seen him do it with multiple teams now at this point, and it's one of those things where it's clearly an unfixable trait with this person. So I don't want Julius Randle near us, especially with the ticket that he's going to come with. Keep him away from Detroit for as far as possible, for as long as possible. I don't want him there at all. I'll put it that way. Other than that, man, I think the true answer to any of the Pistons' problems here is really just going to be the development. Like, if these guys can continue to develop, if we can continue to develop Duran's offensive game, because God knows, oh my gosh, this man is the Angel Reese of the NBA from an offensive standpoint. His offensive game ain't there if he ain't catching lobs. He ain't really got much to show. So I would love to see Duran continue to develop, and this is going to be a crucial factor of how good the Pistons can be in the next 4 years. Is Duran going to actually have an offensive game? This is the big question mark. We know he's solid on defense. We know he can play defense down low. He can hold his own even at the top of the key sometimes, but the offensive scoring and the offensive playmaking and just expanding that offensive game is going to be huge for him. And not only Duran, there's multiple players on the team. Obviously, extremely young with Asar and Ron Holland III. Extremely young guys, but that development just has to continue to grow. And I think we'll be in good hands as long as we continue to do that and these guys do develop in a good pace. So the free agency isn't the end of the world. It is necessary in order for us to get back to winning a championship and competing for conference championships and conference finals and NBA finals. Definitely a necessary step, but it's not the end of the world if we don't land anyone just yet. So I'll keep it at that. But other than that, man, look, that's all I got for you guys. I'm going to leave you with a positive note. And the positive note here, it's going to be simple. I actually have it. I had it written down on something, but let's see if I can pull it back up. All right, so the positive note, man, is just going to be whatever you do, man, you got to have faith in what you're working toward. You can't do, something and work hard for something and then not actually believe that it's going to happen. You got to kind of be a little delusional and just know, like, it's going to happen, and you got to believe. You got to have faith in it. So if you're doing the work, you're putting in the work, you're doing all the research, and you're putting in the hours for it, have faith that whatever you're putting the hours toward is going to happen. So I'm going to leave it at that. Accept it however you want to accept it. And then I'll leave you guys, man. I'll be back later on next week. Next week we should have game 3 of the NBA Finals. It's happening Wednesday, so Thursday will probably, be some talk about game 3 of the NBA Finals. And I'm curious if a lot of people are enjoying it, because I'm enjoying it. At least the first game was crazy with the Halliburton buzzer beater. So yeah, man, I'm excited. But anyway, look, man, that's all I got. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Send this to a cousin, a brother, an aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, coworker, friend, family member, anybody you know. I promise you they not gonna mind. Until then, man, we'll be back later on this week. And so on and so on and so on.
New Balance Hoops is changing the game with a roster built for the future. Darius Garland, Tyrese Maxey, and Zach LaVine push the pace, while Cooper Flagg is set to be the next #1 pick. Cam Brink is raising the bar for women's basketball, proving that impact goes beyond the court. Whether it's the Hezzy Low V2s for quick cuts, the two-way V5 for all-round play, or the Kawhi 4 for those who never stop climbing, New Balance Hoops makes shoes built for every player. Visit newbalance.com/basketball to explore more.